Today we're going to talk about common issues guys have with fish locators. The main reason that your head unit goes bad, I think that train noise might cause me some difficulty, but we're going to power through it. Sometimes I have guys that have issues with electronics, and there's a few things that I feel like if you're struggling, if you got some issues with your electronics, that are helpful to do. If you run a unit that is shutting off, like shutting off when you start your motor, or just shutting off in general, it can a lot of times have to do with power supply issues. Low voltage is not a hard thing to diagnose, but you got to know what you're looking for. If you are running a Garmin, Lowrance, or Humminbird, you have the ability to put your voltage on the screen, so you can see what voltage your unit is currently running at. And you want to do that on the screen that you run most of the time. You want to figure out how to put your voltage on. I think I did a quick video about it that's on the channel in our history. The units don't like to run on low voltage. That thing gets down under 11, you're going to start running into issues. That unit's going to start running real hot. The screen's going to be hot to the touch, very hot. Running hot, running on low voltage is real hard on the electronics inside the device. So if you are experiencing that, you want to fix that. You don't want to just let that go. If you see low voltage on your head unit on screen, if it's telling you it's running on low voltage, then if a guy has a voltmeter, or if you have access to a voltmeter, you want to put that on the battery and see how many volts your battery is supplying. Because there's a chance that your battery is still good, that it's supplying 12 volts or 12 and a half or 13 volts, and your unit's only running on 11 and a half. If you got low voltage at the battery, it's a battery issue or a charging issue. If you have good voltage at the battery and low voltage at the head unit, that is wiring issues. That is, the system somehow is failing you. Either you've got bad crimp connections, bad terminations, bad terminal connections, or you might be running too small a gauge wire. When the companies provide power cables, they tend to use small wire gauge because the power cords that they provide you are only 6 foot long. 16 gauge wire will not drop volts in 6 foot of run, but a lot of guys need to extend their power cord for their head unit. Maybe they're 15, 20 foot from the battery, so they got to add wire because the power cord's only 6 foot long. They got to add wire to get to the unit. If that's the case, when guys are extending them, a lot of times they look at the wire provided, they go, well, this is good enough. They gave me 16 gauge wire, I'm going to buy 16 gauge wire to extend it. You can't do that, because 16 gauge wire, though it'll give you full voltage at 6 foot, won't give you full voltage at 20. I extended mine in my boat with 12 gauge wire, and I don't get any voltage drop. You got to have really good connections. If any of your crimp connections are bad, if you can grab them by hand and pull them apart, that's a problem. But you can check your voltage at different points, different connections in the system to see how many volts you've got. And if you work your way back from the locator that's running on 11 volts, and you get partway to the battery and see that, oh, now all of a sudden it's running 12 volts, your bad part of your system is on the downstream side. It's nearer the unit from where you're reading that higher voltage. Just a way to diagnose your issues and try to get rid of them.